In this video, we're going to talk about risk management, limiting your downside, and how to never go bankrupt. So when I was starting out as a young entrepreneur over 15 years ago, I would take a lot more risk than I take nowadays. And that's perfectly normal. If you ask any successful entrepreneur, they usually have taken more risks at the beginning of their careers because they had nothing to lose, right? And so as you go and as you grow in your business career, you will need to limit the downside because you will have capital, money that you want to make sure not to lose, and you're gonna have to decide and make decisions to limit your downside. So one of the biggest mistakes I made at the time, which I considered to be a big mistake at the time, which turned out to be one of the best things that could have ever happened to me in my business career, happened about 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago. I was making good money online. I had just partnered up with a business partner, and the idea was to build a software company. I moved to Eastern Europe, hired dozens of employees. We built a whole team, over 50 people working on tech, design, sales, marketing, copywriting, admin. And we had moved part of our respective teams to Eastern Europe. And it was very interesting because the adventure was very difficult at the time because I ended up losing a lot of money, but it taught me one of the biggest lessons in entrepreneurship. So all in all, with everything that happened during the venture and after the venture, I lost around $500,000, right? It was a lot of money. It put me in debt. It was very difficult. And it's something that no entrepreneur should go through. But at the same time, every entrepreneur who has made it big has always, at some point throughout his or her career, had to face, being on the brink of losing everything or losing everything and then making it back. So for me personally, the experience was amazing because even though it was very difficult at the time, it taught me the importance and the necessity of limiting your risk. And so in this case, it was limiting the capital deployed in that venture. And at the time, I just didn't have any circuit breakers. And that's the big key word here for this video. You need to have circuit breakers. You need to have an if-then frame of mind, and you need to think in terms of, if this happens, if this doesn't work out, if I put this amount of money and it doesn't work out, I need to cut my losses and move on to something else. And at the time, no one told me that I had to cut my losses. And so we just kept on going and spending money and burning through money. And at some point, it was just time to call it quits because there was no money left. And so it was very difficult at the time, as you can imagine, going from doing well to losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it was one of the most educational times of my life because it taught me the importance of having circuit breakers. So whenever you start a new venture, whenever you go into a new partnership, whenever you launch a new product, whenever you hire someone, whenever you make a significant investment, you need to have a number that you do not exceed if things do not work out as planned. Otherwise, you will keep spending and spending and spending, and that's when problems arise. So you need to have circuit breakers. You need to make sure that if you go beyond this spending level, you're out. I'll give you my circuit breakers today. Nowadays, I'm very risk averse. I don't like risk. And of course, you have to take risk if you want the rewards, but I'm much more careful and prudent with my investments than 15 years ago because I had nothing to lose. Nowadays, my circuit breakers are about 3 months. So in 3 months, if we don't see any traction in a new business, a new partnership, a new venture, a new investment, it doesn't mean we need to make money within 3 months, but if there is no significant progress, no tangible progress, usually I will reevaluate the investment and make a decision if it's worth pursuing or if it's worth cutting. And I've cut dozens of investments over the last few years by following that circuit breaker rule, 90 days. 90 days is the time frame. I want to see something happening within the first 90 days. That's in terms of time. Because remember, when you're starting a venture, you're investing money, but also time, right? And so in terms of money, usually we will always allocate a fixed sum and we want to see results. We want to see something with that initial amount that we're investing. It's never a matter of like, oh, we'll just put some money in and see, and worst case, we'll just put some more money and some more money and some more money. No, you need to have a fixed amount of time that you're willing to invest in the venture and a fixed amount of money that you're willing to invest in the venture. And you need to have a date in your calendar, and you need to sit down at that date and say, okay, is this worth pursuing or not? That's it for this video. Think of your investments, and I'll talk to you in the next video.